Share it again.
I'm gonna share it right now.
And we'll do a mic check this time.
That sounds good.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Somebody let us know in the comments if we have audio.
This is the day about the 20 seconds.
Yeah, about 20 seconds. Oh yeah, you could just check it on your phone if we have audio, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we good.
Coaches texted you?
No, it's
Oh,
not
we're
going.
good. Somebody commented.
Miss Christie.
All right. Let's do it again.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, this number's happened before. But when you feel something on your heart where you say, I can't leave this campus today without getting this interview done, because you did a phenomenal job a while ago and no one could hear it, so that's my fault. So I want to take ownership. I want to try it one more time, if that's okay with you.
I appreciate that. I'm here for it. We'll do it together.
Let's do it.
Let's roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're going to go part 2 of Coach's interview. We still have the players' interview that was up a little earlier. Guys did a phenomenal job. Coach, we tried something a while ago, did not work out, but that's adversity. That's what can be overcame in a season, and that's what can be overcame today. So I'm glad it's happening here in July and not down there in week 1, right?
No better time, no better place.
Coach, let's get going here. So we will ask some similar stuff here, and I'm sure you're ready to tackle it. Players represented the program, phenomenal, big time senior group. They handled the stage well of talking about Bobcat football.
Yep. What me and you talked about right after it happened was a proud moment for a coach, knowing that the things that we try to teach them and the lessons we try to teach them throughout our program are a lot of the same things that they regurgitated in that interview. And those guys are leaders for us on and off the field, and looking forward to some really good things that they're going to do for us this year.
Year 12 for you, 8th as the head coach here at Erath. Every year is different. You've grown tremendously. Talk to me about those years here.
12th year here, my first 4 here, I was an assistant coach. I was fortunate enough to be able to come back to the same place that I graduated from, former alumni, and I wouldn't want to be in any other place. And last 8 years as head coach has been a lot of learning experiences and very rewarding in the end of the last season for me.
Yeah. Coach, you said earlier when we talked, you said you did not get to reflect on what last season actually was until closer to the banquet. Talk to me about whenever those starts started to come back and you wrote it down on the paper. It was like, man,
so
what a year.
Yeah. After the season, you do a lot of reflecting on the game, right? The game that we just lost, did a lot of reflecting. Tried to, see where we can improve, see where the things that we need to change going into the next season. We updated depth charts, we updated game plans, we updated schemes. There's a lot of things that I wanted to get better at for this coming season that I did ahead of time, because all our coaches go on to other sports, and I wanted to make sure we knocked that out before they got deep. They did a deep dive into those sports, and so we did all that, and then it didn't really hit me till the banquet how impressive of a season last season was. It was the 3rd best season in Erath High School football history. It was only our 7th total district title as a football program. since the 1950s when the first program started. We, you know, it meant a lot knowing that, hey, these kids put in the work and all the good things came out of it. And, you know, we just fell short right at the end, and those are the things that we're going to start working to improve on this year.
Going back to round 2, you did get a bye week. Some coaches approach the bye week differently than others, and this was your first experience with it. Talk to me about something you may do differently, and I don't know if you're a fan or not. You probably had some momentum and you wanted to keep playing.
Absolutely. You know, and as a player, I didn't like the bye week. As a coach, you know, I thought we were in the right place, ready to roll as a team, and even the kids will tell you, you know, every kid that finished the season last year wanted to play in that bye week 1. You know, they want to play, and nobody wants to sit at home not playing, regardless of if you earned it or not. And hindsight being 2020, yeah, I mean, I think we would have rather been playing in week 1. Not that we would have rather not been the number 2 seed going into it, but I think you know, kids and coaches alike would have rather been playing. Things that I do different, I don't know if I would do that much different. I think there would be a couple of tweaks that I have, especially as far as competition goes. Definitely do a lot more competitive periods, because I feel like the edge has to still be there. If you're not gonna play the game, you better have a little bit more competitive periods going on in practice. But we got to work on things that we knew we needed to improve on. You know, we got to work on going back to more fundamental stuff that we start doing now in the summer, and you know, something we hadn't touched in 6 months or 5 months at that time. So it was a good thought out process, and you know, I think moving forward, I think there will be some things that we adjust if we get that first round bye again.
You see a team twice in 1 year, not often, but possible. What's the biggest challenge whenever you do see a team that you've seen 11 weeks ago?
If it's for me, those second games are always about motivation. You know, you talk about Lauderdale, right? Lauderdale had all the motivation they needed.
Correct.
And you know, give credit to Coach Terry Martin. They did a great job of coming over here and kicking our tails in week 2 in week 2 of the playoffs. And they had a lot of motivation to do it. I mean, we beat them up week 1 at their place. That was a tough fought match. But you look on the flip side, you know, our kids talked about the one game that they want and they have circled on their schedule is VC, because they did it to us at our place. And you know, they have that motivation to go give it back to them next year. So you know, that second part of it, yes, there's some things that you have to change scheme wise, but at the end of it, you know, it's who's going to have a little bit more motivation than the other to get the job done.
If I know you probably got back to work the next day, and you do have guys that go on to play other sports, but there's always areas to grow as a head coach leading up to whenever you get the team back.
Right, and I did. The next day we went on the board. It's about the Jimmys and Joes first, right? You know, we talked about that earlier. You started put your players in the best position possible to help you win ball games. Then we went to the X's and O's, and then we went to the situations and the details. And you know, we're still working on those today, and we're still teaching them to the kids as we move forward.
That senior class a year ago was special. You got to be with them for 4 years. They graduated. They left their legacy. What did they mean to you? This year's senior class now gets to go leave their legacy. Talk to me about both groups.
They are doing exactly what I asked of them, and it's leaving this place better than they found it. And you know, every day we walk in, I try to do the same thing in this gym. I try to do the same thing with my kids, and I try to do the same thing with the kids that I get to coach every day. Is help them be better than the day they walked in. And you know, the seniors left this program better than they found it. Yeah. Just like the senior classes before them did. And you know, I think this senior class this year for the 2025 football season, they see the exact same things, and you know, they want to leave it better than they found it. And I think they're ready to take the next step.
It was a special year for athletics and all for this school. Baseball made their run, and you were able to work a lot with the younger guys. So it was some one-on-one time that you might have not gotten if everyone was together. How beneficial, how crucial was it to get that time with the younger kids.
So I'm a firm believer that your team is only as good as your backups.
There you go.
And I know our kids will tell you they asked me a lot of questions. When we started spring football, they knew spring football was coming up. They had the parent meeting. Their parents were telling them, hey, spring football starting on May 6th, and teams will be ready to go. And they wanted to ask me questions, and I said, look, guys, the most important thing for you right now is to work on winning a state championship in baseball.
Yeah.
And those 10 days that we get in spring football practice, when our first game is not till September 5th, we can worry about those 10 days later. You'll never get back an opportunity to play. You'll never get back another opportunity to play in a state championship game and go win a state title. So I made sure they understood that. And our backups and the guys that are trying to earn starting jobs and are in position battles, they went to work. This spring, and they worked their butt off. They learned the playbooks. They got on the field. They went through the installs. They got a little physical, and they earned some jobs. And some of those guys are still starting because of it. Some of those guys have earned major roles because of it. So the spring was fun.
Summer's about to wrap up. How close are we to winning the summer, or did they already accomplish that?
So for me, winning the summer is we get to have our combine testing next week.
Yeah.
We start on Monday. We're gonna run the 40. We're gonna do a vert jump, and we're gonna bench press. We're gonna max. We'll do that all week. We finish with our agility testing and some conditioning testing and some other strength tests throughout the week. But winning the summer for me is seeing how much kids have improved from where they were back in April when we last tested. And those kids are working. Every kid wants to get stronger, faster, and more in shape. So we've helped them get there this summer, and taught them a little football on the way.
Coach, teams have called, and it's been the same tradition year in and year out. We go blue and white game for the spring game. You set up a drive, the community is here, and you can find some real diamond in the roughs that day. Talk to me about the blue and white game, how year in and year out it's becoming bigger and better.
So there's a few things we do different here in Erath football than other schools around the area would do, and one of them's our spring football game. Players, coaches, fans alike, they're asking Coach, why? Well, how about we go play so and so for a spring football game? How about we go play so and so for a spring football game? And for me as a coach, spring football is about the Bobcats.
Yeah.
And I want us to focus on us, and I want to be able to focus on us. And the best way I know to do that is to not have to prepare for another team, and I have to coach our kids up on preparing for another team, doing an install, doing a game plan, doing a team review on another team, when I could be doing that on us and getting better at our craft and get better at the things that we teach within our program. So we've been doing that for 7 years now, and we have fun with it. The coaches draft the teams. We get the teams as even as we can get them. The kids go out there and they execute what they've learned over the course of those 10 practices, and we get after it. And we find a lot of depth being able to do that.
Thursday, August 21st, you will play Ascension Episcopal in the fall scrimmage. And then you go fast forward a week from there, you will play Church Point in the Jamboree. What do you want to see from your groups before you even get to the regular season?
I want to see some kids compete. We went out there, and I'll say probably one of the better things that happened last year was, we went out there for the scrimmage, and Coach Hammond, who's no longer at AES, he's got a new position at Lafayette High, but he had his team ready to play for the scrimmage last year, and they took it to us. And I'm a big believer on you winning and learning, and we learned a lot that day. And probably one of the better things that happened to us in the year was that scrimmage, and I'm looking forward to the kids going out there and competing and kind of bringing some life into that scrimmage.
When you look at your schedule, 1 through 10, nothing changes. We're flipping home and away. Talk to me about how balanced this schedule is from top to bottom. There ain't no weeks off, Coach.
No. And, when we went 8-1 in the regular season, And we know that there's 8 teams that are ready to give us some redemption, and we get that. They have that motivation that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So we know we're going to get everybody's best game. And I know Coach Prejean at Green Catholic is going to have those guys ready to play, coming off of the state championship title last year, and I'm looking forward to a lot of competitive games this year.
Is there any question marks that really stand out to you right now that you are yet to be answered for this season?
Looking at the end of last season, I feel like our biggest question mark was probably going to be at linebacker. We lose a kid. Let me unplug this real quick.
Okay.
That's fine.
There you go.
Nice and quiet.
You get no ice in the morning.
So, that'll be plenty. So we lose a kid with the caliber like Mason Aver, where he's a 4.0 kid, one of the smartest kids on the team, knew both offensively and defensively his playbooks. He knew more than just his assignments.
Yeah.
He was the quarterback of our defense. So I felt like our biggest question mark going into the year was who's going to fill that role? Who's going to fill those shoes? And I feel like Jaleel Charles spoke earlier. He was on that linebacker crew with Mason last year. And I think he's put himself in a great position to be that guy again this year. Another smart kid, another kid that understands the playbook, the ins and outs. He's a running back in that committee on the other side of the football. And then I feel like we graduated 3 defensive linemen, and I felt that spot was probably going to be one of the bigger question marks from last year of those all-district players. And I feel like through the competition that we've had in the spring and where we are now in the summer, those guys are ready to rock and roll.
Introduce your coaching staff.
All right.
2025 Bobcat coaching staff.
I feel like I'm in a great position, and I'm fortunate enough that the admins have worked with us and have put some really good coaches on our staff. Our 10 assistant coaches that we have for football, all head coaches of other sports, and they bust their butts out here for the blue and white. And I wouldn't want anybody else to be in this program. Jamal Bell is our assistant wide receivers coach. Jonathan Bouillon is our defensive coordinator and safeties coach. Coach Jacob Broussard coaches our running backs, and he also coaches our specialists. Coach Tucker DeReese, former player of ours, will be his first year back in the blue and white. Is Coach Tucker DeReese. He's coaching our linebackers. Coach Ian Harrington is our wide receivers coach. Another former player of ours. Coach Brian Parker, our D-line coach. Coach Tommy Pilette, legend at Erath, just came out with a new book. Shout out to him for that. He's our assistant DBs coach. Coach Trey Price is our cornerbacks coach and special teams coordinator. Coach Johnny Trackmore is our O-line coach, and Coach Chris Turner is our tight ends coach. He's a great staff to work with.
There you go. A lot of great names on that staff that work their tails off. You know who else works their tail off? Your starting quarterback.
Yep.
Let's talk about Jack Landry and the role that he's taken this year. It seems like he's taken on that role that was left a year ago from your big talented player.
He's a special human being. I know he spoke well, and he talked highly of other kids on the team. Kids talked highly of him, and he brings a lot of confidence. And he's a kid that he's not going to let anybody do anything but their very best. Yeah. And he wants nothing more than to be successful. And he's gonna push the people around him to be better than what they think they are. And that's a guy. He's gonna be a 3-year starter for us now, and that's a guy that's gonna continue to move this program forward. Confidence is something that he exudes, and being in the position he is at quarterback, you want nothing more than the guy that's catching that snap every time, to be a guy that pushes confidence. And the whole linemen believe in it, the receivers believe in it, the defense believes in it, and this team is built around confidence right now, and I'm excited to see what happens when we put it back on.
Seems like you might have a pretty experienced veteran backfield coming back this year that could give teams some trouble. Three guys we know about. but you've been around practices, you've been around the weight room. What really stands out about those three?
So, three seniors. And I know y'all spoke about them earlier: Aiden Borg, Jalil Charles, and Landon Lemaire. And right now, we're just as confident as the 1A and the 1C. You know, you could be starter A, starter B, starter C.
Yeah.
And then the best part about them is they're all starters on defense, and they have been for 2 years now. And you know, whenever we roll a guy in there, we want to be as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
You know, we want to try to make some explosive plays happen, and those guys are understanding the playbook and are doing a great job with it. And you know, we're going to go with the fast foot and hit that thing down the hill behind our offensive line.
That's it. Big season ahead for those three.
That's right.
Receiving core, though, Coach, graduated a few. Talon is back. He's a veteran in that group. Guys said you do have some depth, though, that has to step up this year. Played a little JV last year. What can you say about the receiving group that Jack's going to have to get the ball out to these guys this year?
So Talon is back. He's our lead receiver coming back. Tate Collins is a sophomore for us. He earned that position battle at one of our receiver spots. And then Aiden Talmore, who's a junior, earned the other receiving spot that the two seniors graduated from. And, you know, all three of those guys together have earned some trust in the quarterback. And, you know, that's the biggest thing that I want is a guy that the quarterback trusts to be where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be, so we can get the ball to him all the time. And, you know, it's happened all summer. And we're going to continue to grow from it, continue to add, and continue to perfect our craft.
Absolutely. 4 guys return. Offensive line got to be a strength for this team, and they can probably lean on some people in the fourth quarter.
I'm, you know, which I thought was probably one of our biggest questions going into 2024, because we had graduated 3 or 4 of them at that time, the year before, and you know those guys had to step up last year, and they did a phenomenal job going 8-1 in the regular season. You cannot be productive as an offense if your offensive lineman is lacking, and you know those guys work together. You know, 5 equals 1, big old line model. And those guys work together as one, and they've done a great job this offseason.
I don't want to say his name wrong.
Okay.
Coach Bouillon?
Bouillon.
Coach Bouillon and the rest of the defensive staff. How's those conversations like right now? What are they excited about? What are they talking in the locker room with yourself?
So we know we have 7 returning starters on defense.
Okay.
And the majority of that, like we talked, came from the skill position. And we found some guys to kind of lock in those D-line positions and have done a great job with some experience. And you know their talks have been about physicality. You know, we want to be a physical defense. We want to be a defense that executes fast because we practice fast. And you know, I think moving forward is going to be about looking at those games where we did struggle and where we struggled defensively and how we're going to overcome those. And Coach Boo and his staff have done a great job this summer of putting our guys in great positions, moving, you know, with the foresight into the 2025 season.
Saw y'all play twice a year ago. Once in the Jamboree, once down in Week 9. And twice there, special teams really matter. And I have a good feeling that a big emphasis this offseason was special teams. What would you like to say?
Another one of the things that I feel like we try to do differently than other schools is put a greater emphasis on special teams than the schools that we're going to play. Hopefully we do, because I feel like, you know, I try to treat that special teams as a true third of the game for us in our program. You know, from doing specialty tryouts, special teams drills and coaching those drills, and we've been doing that here the past 2 weeks, trying to work on special teams depth charts so that when we get to the season, you know, we're those backups that we talked about are hopefully continuing to earn roles, whether it's on offense or defense, or whether it's not on offense or defense, they got a chance on special teams. And you know, I was a big special teams guy when I was at Big East. Right. That was my first kind of feet to the fire, as you would say, for Saturday nights in the hole. And when I came back to Erath, I was fortunate enough to be named the special teams coordinator my first year here. So I did that for 4 years, and even some into my head coaching career. But as a special teams coordinator, like I put an emphasis to where trying to put that excitement into special teams. That it wasn't a place for to get the younger kids to play. It was another job. It was another opportunity for kids to earn jobs. And you know, we're just as electric. You know, we have just as many gadget plays on special teams as we do on offense. Just as many blitzes as we do on defense, we do on punt return, and we want explosive plays there. And you know, our kids embrace it, and they do a great job of executing.
Number one play last year of our top 10 plays. We covered 28 games.
Yeah.
And walk-off field goal, Felipe for the win. What a moment. You said earlier to me that you got a chance to go back and rewatch it afterwards. And it was just a moment that will stick with you. But I do want to know, did you talk to him before the kick? Did you go tell him something, or did you leave him alone? In a moment like that, what happened?
So 2-minute drive, you know, things that we practiced. We were fortunate enough we had a 2-minute drive with one time out left.
I thought y'all was.
So
I thought y'all were getting it to overtime.
Right. So
Fake spike.
yeah, with the fake spike. So anyway, so we had a timeout left. So I was fortunate enough to better get the kids back on the sidelines to better communicate before they ran out the field.
Yeah.
So we called the timeout right there before the game-winning field goal with 3 seconds left. And in that moment, you don't want a kid to feel like it's anything different than he's always done.
Yeah.
Yes, the school board shows something different than they would in practice. Yes, there's more people watching than you would in practice. But I did. So I remember the conversation. And Eli would tell you the same thing. We called field goal out there. They all came to me. And before he got to the huddle, I grabbed him and walked with him to the numbers. And I told him the same thing. I said, Eli, it's just like every kick you've ever kicked in practice. It's like every kick you've ever kicked when we went red field goal at the end of the fourth quarter on the 2-minute drives on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's nothing different than that. It's an extra point from the left hash, and we went out there and kicked it. And funny part is, and we you know, when I told you I went back and watched the film, there was so much excitement I had in that moment of being able to watch the kids execute what we've practiced so many times. It was enjoyable to just sit back and watch the excitement happen on the field. And I remember going back, putting my headset on the podium, which is about 10 yards from the sidelines, and I was watching our camera, or it might have actually been on your live feed, and I just turned around and I think I hugged the coach that was still there, and the kids are on the field celebrating. It was enjoyable to see, you know, and looking in the stands and watching the excitement in that moment was awesome as a coach.
It's a moment I'll never forget,
Yeah.
and it's a call I'll never forget.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
126 games we've covered, comes in number 5 all time.
Awesome.
What a game.
Awesome.
And it's because of you, because you allowed us to be there that night to witness history.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Coach. What do we have?
You know, fundraisers kind of wrapped up for the football program. I did mention, you know, we have our big Backers Club hosting our alumni softball tournament here in the next 2 weekends. You know, they're going to work with some faculty here to make that happen, and all the alumni come out. I believe they're up to 12 teams now, maybe. This year, I think we had 10 last year, so it's on the uptick, and you know, we're looking forward to continue to add some teams out there. Updates in Bobcat Stadium. Should be some really exciting things that you're going to see this year in Bobcat Stadium. We're thankful to our school board members and our superintendent and everybody else that was involved in the process. But they're currently working on and expected to be finished by week 1 when we host Lowerville. A new concession stand and restrooms that's currently outside of our stadium. The roof just got installed this week, and upgrades are continue to be made underneath. They're repurposing our ticket booth underneath to be able to use with access to both sides. The visitors' bleachers are getting extended, so we're adding more visitors' bleachers on that side to accommodate some bigger opponents that we're going to end up playing and that we have gotten. And then outside of the stadium, you know, Broadway is getting redone and resurfaced at this time, and you know, it should be some smooth sailing here in the next couple months.
Big things are happening here in Erath. Coach, let's go to the practice field. High intensity reps, longer teaching periods. What's the style here?
With full disclosure, I apologize to the coaches ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I love high intensity and high tempo, and I try to talk to them. Hey, I need some short coaching cues when you're coaching kids between reps. Let's try to get that next rep in as fast as possible. I'm a big believer in not leaving the field with any regrets. And the last thing I want is a coach to not be able to get in a rep that he really wanted to see at the end of practice because we ran out of time.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go for 150 minutes of practice. It's gonna be a 2.5 hour practice from the time we do walkthroughs, including warm-ups, and the time we bring in at the end of practice. So I want to make sure that we get all that in and have no regrets for it, and we want to be up tempo to get everything in that we want.
When you're talking scheme, do you build it around your players, or you make players fit your system? I mean, you've been here 8 as a head coach, 12 as on staff, so you've seen schemes come and go.
Offensive philosophy's the same. Schemes change, formations change, players change, but the philosophy stays the same. It's players, then formations, then plays. And we want to get our best 11 kids on the field at the same time to execute a certain play the best that they can. And we want to make sure that we get our best players the football and offense to help us become successful on Friday nights.
What about tempo on Friday night? I know you can go grind it out, but I know you go hurry up.
So we're no other team. Have been for a few years now on offense, and the best tempo is a up and down tempo or a flexible tempo. There's times that we go extremely fast, and there's times that we go extremely slow, and we actually end up huddling on offense. And it breaks up the monotony for the defense of always knowing when the snap count's going to happen, always knowing how fast they're going to come get lined up. So being able to change that tempo is a big aspect of our offense.
2-part question here.
Okay.
How do you avoid over adjusting by sticking to your identity, and also how much freedom do your players have to make adjustments on the field?
So our adjustments, I shouldn't say our adjustments, our checks are built into what we do already,
okay,
offensively and defensively. That could be based off of how the defense lines up. It could be based off of their coverage that they're showing. On the defense side, it could be based off of formations. It could be based off of motions or under center, in the gun. All those different things that we've seen them do on film. Going with that, we want to make sure these kids are still playing fast, and we want to make sure that they're playing at a high level. So we got to practice those things, and we got to practice them at a high level. So we make sure that happens Monday through Thursday.
A position group, in your opinion, got to take the biggest leap this offseason?
If I had to pick one, I'd say because of the experience or the lack of experience, I would say the D-line. Like I said, we did graduate 3 from that spot, and I think those guys have made a jump so forward. I want to see make an even bigger improvement moving forward.
As a coach, how rewarding is it when it finally clicks for a player on a Friday night?
That's kind of like that captain moment, end of the game moment. It's that moment of you coaching a kid hard, continuing to grind on them and say, hey, this is what we need to do, showing them the practice film, showing them the game film. Hey, here's why it's not working for us as a team. And when that kid it finally clicks and he gets it right, and you can show him on film and you can reward him and say, hey man, that's how it's done. This is why we're able to execute. Whatever it is, he gets a turnover, he gets a pick, he gets a sack, or the kid catches a touchdown, or we get a pancake block on a double team. Like, just when those things happen and you can show it to them on film, that's when that feeling comes.
Things do happen in a season, Coach. That's the good.
Yeah.
But there is difficulty sometimes. Most difficult thing to overcome in a season, what is it?
Injuries, without a doubt, with no hesitation. I said it earlier, the best teams, the team is really determined by its backups.
Yeah.
And, I feel like this year we have some guys fighting for positions that are going to be really important for this team that are not necessarily starters. And, we're going to try to put them in key roles on special teams and key substitution positions where they have fresh legs and they're fast and they can help us win ball games. 2 years ago, we were unfortunate enough that we had a lot of injuries. and it cost us a lot of games that were close at the end, and those guys were sophomores at the time that had to take their positions, and now they're seniors. So I'm looking forward to that experience really coming into play.
What small details in preparation make a big difference on a Friday night?
I think you can see it when you're looking at the execution of plays on a Friday night, right? Does it look like it's crisp? Are kids getting there fast? Are they operating at a high level? You can see those little details. Are they getting in a proper stance pre-snap? Are they getting lined up fast? Are kids communicating with each other? We believe a lot in communication. From the O-line, the defense, the quarterback, to the skill position players. And whenever you see that communication, you can, fans can see that pre-snap. When you see that communication happening on the field pre-snap, that's a team that's prepared and ready to go.
What's the difference in a team that works hard and a team that competes every day?
When a team competes every day, the hard work is natural. We do a lot of competitive stuff here, and the hard work comes natural because of the kids and the community that they represent. And when we start competing, that's when you learn to win and lose. Yeah. And competitors love to win and hate to lose, and they work hard, and they dread that they fear losing, and it makes them work harder when it's not a competitive time. So
let me ask you this then. What separates a good team from a great team in those final minutes that matter the most?
So that was one of them I wrote down right here as the kids were talking. Good teams are led by coaches, and great teams are led by players. And the five guys you talked to earlier, including the other captains that weren't able to make it today, we feel like we have the chance for these kids to really lead this team and be great. And we're looking for the future, and we're looking forward to these kids putting in some really good stuff this season.
You can have a team prepared when it comes to the playbook wise,
Mm-hmm.
but what does a prepared team look like beyond just knowing the plays?
And I think it's a little bit of what I mentioned earlier about communication,
yeah,
and how they work with each other. Like this is a team. It's 11 guys trying to accomplish one goal.
No egos on the
That's
field.
right. Yeah, it's us. It's not me. It's not you. It's us. And how they communicate in times of failure and how they communicate in times of success, and especially during the snap and pre-snap, is really what helps move past those X's and O's and the issues that happen on Friday nights.
Friday nights, why is body language so important?
Oh, man, the kids talked about what the jersey represents. Talked about it's for the program, right? The jersey belongs to the program, not to them. It's been worn by many people before them. It's been worn by me. It's been worn by some of our other coaches, and the people that in the stands have also been in those shoes and in those jerseys. And their body language is a big representation of them, the school, what they represent, and the negative body language puts a negative look on them, not only them as a person, but us as a program. And everybody has to let out negative emotions one way or another. And man, O-line, D-linemen, the running backs, like guys that are in highly physical and contact positions, they have a way to let that anger and the aggressiveness out on a snap, every snap.
Yeah.
And it's us working with the skill position players, especially the quarterbacks. Like, you're going to make mistakes, guys. It's going to happen. And the body language needs to be a communication between you and another player, you and a coach. And we gotta learn from a loss, right? And get over that loss and move on, and let's move on to the next play.
Two-part question for you.
Okay.
Number one, your feeder program, knowing that these kids are coming in to your system ready to play.
Yeah.
Number two, multi-sport athletes, you love it or you don't.
Okay. Our feeder program, led by Coach Greg Wagenspach, has done a phenomenal job in the time that I've been here. He was here before I was here, and he's done a great job since. I only ask them two things. When we get those freshmen, I want those kids to be tough, and I want them to love football.
Yeah.
I just had a meeting with him and the other coaches, the other middle school coaches today. We talked about X's and O's, and I made sure I told them that before we left. You know, it is nice when the kids can come to us, and they know a large portion of our playbook, or they know even the smallest terminology of our playbook. But none of that matters to me if I would just get kids that are physical, kids that are tough, and kids that love to play football. Because we can teach them the X's and O's. We can teach them how to get faster. We can help them get stronger. We can do all those great things. But if they're not tough and they don't love to play football, it's going to be hard to get them. So those guys have done a great job, and I know they're going to continue to do a great job. This year, the biggest freshman class we've had, and the classes are continuing to get bigger, which means kids love to play football.
Yeah.
We have 38 freshmen right now on our football team.
You got some teams out there with 38 players.
Yep. And you know, it's nice being able to, or it's fun being able to organize that many players on a roster, especially freshmen. You know, kids that are fresh bodies out there and don't really understand our standards. But at the same time, it makes me understand and makes me remember, hey, this is what we're building. This is what we're trying to get to. And you know, those guys, I love this class, man. They work their butt off. They compete. They work hard. They love football. Going to the multiple sport question, I was a 4-sport athlete here at Erath. Football, basketball, baseball, track. Did them all. Loved them all. If me and you could get after it after school, we're gonna do it. You know, we're gonna go hoop. We're gonna go throw the shot put, the discus. We're gonna run the track. That's right. And I love it. You know, I have. We talked about the exit interviews previously that I have with the kids. You know, football season ends, and I'm having an exit interview with each kid. And the question I ask them is, "What's your next sport?" You know, I don't ask them which sport they want to play next. I'm asking them what their next sport is, because I want kids that are competitive. I'm trying to find them a sport, whether that's basketball, wrestling, baseball, track, soccer, cross country. I mean, there's something they can do, and I want to put those kids in the best position possible to be a better competitor next year when you step on the football field than they were this previous year when they won the field.
Offensive style type of question here. Quarterbacks pre-post snap read. You don't have to go into details whenever it goes to what y'all do here, but watching Jack understand the process there and going into his senior year. Also, how often do you use motion, and what does that diagnose in your opinion?
So every play, he has a pre-snap read and a post-snap read.
Okay.
Run play, pass play, doesn't matter. He has that pre-snap and post-snap read. The motions allow him to get an indicator pre-snap, according to whether that's man or zone, according to a different front they might give us, or a different blitz they might give us based off of this motion or different coverage. And he moves on and he makes his checks from that, or he makes his read from that, or he makes his adjustment from that on his read. So he's in a position now as a third-year starter that those come naturally to him. And he's the type of guy that he's looking for more. He's hungry, and we've put a little bit more on his plate this year, and by good standards. I mean, he's earned that. He's earned that responsibility, and we're going to continue to put him in those situations to help our guys win on Friday nights.
Your offensive line that's in front of them, veteran group, physical group, discipline and smart has to be a big factor. What was their offseason about? Was it technique, footwork?
Getting stronger. Getting more athletic. Those guys, us being able to utilize the screen game and the run game, they have to be athletic kids. You know, big bodies, big strong kids are nice. There's one thing you can't change, and it's size.
Yeah.
And you know, they are who they are, and they're not the biggest kids, but they're tough. They're going to get after it on Friday nights, and they're going to work together. And they've done that this offseason.
Let's go to maybe you're on the offensive side of the ball.
Correct.
And we can switch over to defense in a second. An opposing team throws something at you unexpected that you worked on all weekend. Here they come and they throwing curveballs your way. And you can flip the question and go in your own defense now. Maybe we go prepare for wing T, and here they come in the spread.
Right.
So it's just some curveballs that are thrown. How do you prepare your team for the unexpected things that are thrown your way.
So I'm a big believer in practicing what you do. You know, one of the things I've heard coming up in the coaching world is the greatest teams have the greatest tendencies.
Yeah.
And good teams will have tendencies. And that goes with defense and offense. That means that they've practiced things over and over and over again to where they're executing them at a high level, and they're just executing them better than the other team that's executing their assignments. So we move towards that direction. If we start seeing things on Friday nights that we haven't seen, we know that they probably haven't practiced that as well. So we want to pump the brakes. Hey, whether it's a different coverage, a different front, a different scheme on offense, a different formations are easy to make. Motions are easy to make. Those are the adjustments we have to make as a staff. If it's new schemes, new coverages, new things like that, we know not that they're gonna execute them better than us, but that if we adjust, those are not necessarily things that they've covered as much as we've covered what we do. So we make those adjustments on the fly as fast as we can.
Walk me through your process at halftime. Approach at halftime. Is it tactical changes, emotional reset, or other?
We try to leave the emotions out of it, right? There's going to be some negatives that happen in the first half.
Yep.
But for me, halftime is about confirmation. I want to confirm that what we talked about over the headsets, from the box coach to the iPads to the D-line coach, the O-line coach, to the guys that are signaling, to the secondary, to the coverage, to the blitzes. I want to confirm. I want to make sure that what we're talking about, we made the correct adjustments to, and that we're able to execute them in the second half to go finish the ball game.
What do you lean on when things aren't going right on a Friday night? Is it the trust? Is it the leadership? Is it the training?
You lean back on what you've practiced the most, and what has been executed the best when things aren't working for you. Because teams are going to give you things, and teams are going to practice on you. They practice too. You know, it's the greatest coaching thing. They practice too, guys. And you know, whenever things are not going right, it's calming the mind, resetting those emotions, and resetting those thoughts, going back to the game plan, and remembering the things you practiced on, and continue to execute those at a high level.
Do you believe after all these years now, and you go into this year with a veteran group, good senior group, 30-something freshmen, do you believe your players understand the why behind the X's and O's now?
It's a learning process every year.
Okay.
I think their why is the team. And I'm a big believer in film. We watch practice film, we watch opponents film, we watch game film, we watch college film, we watch NFL film. And any chance we get, I can show somebody else doing it or them doing it, we're gonna watch it, especially if it relates to what we do. And the why in the X's and O's is really shows itself whenever I can show a kid, hey, over and over, we're gonna coach him hard on this technique, we're gonna coach him hard on his abilities to better execute these fast, or faster than the opponent on Friday nights. And when I can show it to him on film, and I can watch him fail over and over again, and help him learn. And then when he finally does it right, we can pat him on the back and we can celebrate, whether it's a turnover, a pick six, a guy catching a touchdown in the end zone. The why shows itself whenever everybody gets to celebrate and we get to do it together as a team.
What lessons do you hope your players carry with them long after the pads finally come off?
So another one of the things that we do differently here at Erath is, you know, one of our hashtags when we post on social media is hashtag identity, with the big E in the middle.
Yeah.
And when we started the identity program years ago, it was intended to be a character building program. And I'm a big believer of leaving a place better than you found it, right? Leaving something better than you found it. And my goal each year is to leave these kids a better human being than they were when they first showed up. And when we start building that identity program, you know, we build it with the cornerstones of honesty and respect. And then we build it from the ground up. And we build their character on toughness, on trust, on leadership. And we talk about things off the field, ideas that we want them to become a better human being, a better teammate, a better dad in the future, a to be a better competitor when they're out there in their job. And those are the type of things that we look forward to in the off season. And our coaches and our assistant coaches do a great job of creating PowerPoints and teaching that program to our kids.
Two more question here. Who helped shape your own leadership style so you can pass it on down to the kids? And could it be the same person that's your mentor in the coaching world?
I'll give you three guys.
Go for it.
And in no particular order, but the one I worked with the most was my D-line coach, Manny Michel. Great mentor to me. Tough on me as a player, tough on me as a GA when I was able to GA underneath him the year after I graduated, and it taught me a lot about being a coach and how to coach kids and how to have fun coaching kids, and really to put the kid first, that kid's ability, that kid's technique, and the things that he can do for you and your program, and put him on the field and put him in the best position possible to help you win ball games. And he taught me that. He taught me how to be a better player and a man. Second would be Lance Guidry. So Lance Guidry is, he's been in the college game now for many years. Head college coach. His previous stop, he was the DC at Miami, and now he's an analyst or an assistant coach at LSU. And Coach Guidry, when I was there, I was fortunate enough. The year at GA, he was the defensive coordinator. He taught me how to be a better practice coach and to compete with the kids at practice. And he may never have told me that out loud. I just saw him on Tuesday, and we had a big hug. We laughed it out. We talked about the old times, and it was good stuff seeing him. And that was the first time I really saw a coach sprint in the front of a group from drill to drill. And I got to see kids having fun during Indo, and kids having fun during group, and he's celebrating out there when the defense got a pick, and him running down the sideline with them as they had to pick six in practice. Like he was the motivation for the kids that had a little extra to play for. So he was a great mentor to me in that way. And then the toughness part, man, it goes without saying. I played for the late great Coach Jacob Bauer, and he was a head coach here for 22 years at Erath, and the 4 years that I played under him taught me a lot of toughness and how to work at practice, and that every play meant everything. And he was a man. He believed that he didn't care if the defense knew what we were running, and we were gonna run it right here, and we were just gonna execute it better than you, and we were gonna be tougher than you. And he taught me a lot of that growing up through high school.
A lot of big wins in your career. The most memorable game you've ever coached. Also, the backing of this community, incredible.
Yeah.
Friday night here, special.
You've experienced it. It's for a 3A school, it's second to none. And the one that comes up all the time is the Kaplan game. It was a great ending to a game last year. You mentioned it was your number one play last year, the game-winning field goal. But the most memorable game for me as a coach probably goes to week 10 of 2023 season. We were 1-8 at the time, and I had a senior meeting on Sunday, and it's the first time in my career I had to stand in front of a group of young men and tell them that that I never coached a game with no implications, and that this was going to be their last high school football game. But in the same breath, I told them I wanted this game to be as memorable as any game they've ever played. They were heartbroken. That was the year we had injuries. We had kids no longer on the team. We had sophomores and freshmen all over the field playing for us in the time we needed. With the injuries we had. Had a kid that had broke his foot early in the season, a kid that had a bruised labrum, who both went on to play college football, a state champ wrestler who had a torn meniscus that was fighting through pain, playing. And I wanted nothing more than that Week 10 game to be something special that they remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And we did something special that Friday night. And I told them whenever we left that meeting, I said we were going to have a lot of fun. We were going to work on a lot of things. They had all the motivation to trust the process, trust the staff, trust themselves, and go get it. We broke the school's single game total yardage record. We had over 600 total yards that night. Can't remember the exact number. We had over 60 points that night. Broke the school's total points record for a game, and we broke two other team records that night as a team. For a team that had no further implications and all they wanted was just to play football for the blue and white one more time. That was a special night for me.
How important is it that your players know that you see them as people and not just athletes?
Hopefully they see that through our identity program.
Yeah.
You know, and I want them to be a better human being at the end of this. You know, I want them to be a better dad than I am. I want them to be better at their job than I am. I want them to exceed where we are and help. I want to help them grow at a young age so that when they leave here, they might not have football left in their future, but all the things that we talk about within their character and who they are, they're still going to have with them. You know, their leadership, their toughness, their trust in other people, their trust in themselves, their honesty and their respect, and as they move forward, you know, those are things I hope they can take with them.
Describe an unsung hero and who could take on that role this year.
Jordan, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm glad you got back to this question, because I was going to ask you if we could talk about it before we left. Unsung hero, and I'll just give you the kid's name, is Braden Tukey. He was a kid, when he came into high school, was not by any stretch, probably 4'8", 90 pounds.
Okay.
Obviously has grown and has gotten bigger since. He's earned a starting cornerback role for us this year as a senior. For 3 years, he did nothing but do everything every coach asked him to do. Worked his tail off. Has become one of the more athletic kids on this football team, and has earned his way onto the football field. His freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, we call our scout team job takers.
Yeah.
And when we call for job takers, he was one of the first 11 out there in that job taker huddle every single time. Last year, he was our job taker of the year. So what I felt like was the most important player on our football team for us, because he was our best backup kid to help us be successful on Friday nights, and that was that kid. Worked his butt off. Was on every special teams last year. Was going to be a starter this year, and on every special teams this year. And is a kid that didn't quite earn a senior captain role this year, but he's a second in command in this family. And you know, you talk about unsung heroes and what people go through and the struggles they go through, and what that kid has done for this program and for himself is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Coach, as we wind down here and we get to the final few questions, I've got a big one for you.
Okay.
What is your why?
My why is the search for the unknown. You know, I've never been a stubborn coach, and you know, I bring in ideas all the time. We change philosophies, we change how we practice, we change how we play, we change. You know, those things get adjusted, and it's my constant search for something better. You know, growth and improvement to try to find success. We just have the opportunity to find success.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way. You know, I was a D lineman and an offensive lineman my whole life. And I tried to learn DBs when I was at McNeese. I tried to, you know, I'm coaching quarterbacks now. I tried to coach linebackers. I coach offensive linemen. You know, it's that search for growth and continuing to improve. That's why I coach. You know, that's why I hope a lot of people play football. You know, search for growth and continue to try to search for success.
Year 12, 2025 season is upon us. What are you most excited for, and what are you most proud of from this year's group?
I'm excited to see what that first day in pads are going to be like. I've told y'all before, we have a team that I feel like is very confident.
Okay.
Confident in their abilities, confident in their assignments, and confident that they can be successful on Friday nights if they put everything together and play together. And that confidence can change when you put on pads, and somebody hits you in the mouth and you got to hit it back.
Yeah.
And we're going to be a tough team, and I want to see those teams. I want to see those kids, those same kids, show up whenever we put those pads on that first day in August. So, second part of the question.
And most proud of from this year's group so far?
So far, when you get an experienced, confident group together, the biggest worry is complacency, or complacency setting in. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that even in that confidence and in that success that they've had, there's no complacency. There's always seniors, sprinting on a 40. When we ran a lot today in the sprints. They were sprinting, and it was a room for improvement. I see that constant battle that they have within themselves to keep improving every day. That's the thing I'm most proud of.
What is your message to the alumni, to the community, as we get ready for another football season?
The Bobcat Stadium is always electric, and we're looking forward to you guys continue to be out there on Friday nights. These kids have been working hard, wearing that jersey proud that belongs to the program, belongs to all of you out there and all of us, and we just want to make you guys proud whenever we show up on Friday nights.
Close us out today with the quote of the day.
All right, quote of the day is one that has taken me. It definitely took me through my entire athletics and a little bit into my coaching, and still continues with me to this day, and just has become a part of who I am. It's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And it was something I read in a book while I was in high school, and it just stuck with me. I was always a kid that was a bigger kid growing up, but never more athletic than anybody, never faster than anybody, never stronger than anybody. And it just taught me that you have to find a way to always be the hardest worker wherever you are. Found that out when I got to McNeese, and everybody there was the best player in the area, not only the best player on the team. And if I wanted a right to play or earn a spot or an opportunity to play, I had to outwork some people. And I wanted to make sure every day I showed up, I was the hardest worker on the team. And I try to do the same thing here. Try to make sure I'm the hardest worker on our staff and the hardest worker at this school. So that's the one I live by.
Burn the boats.
Burn the boats. Our 2025 motto. I'm without going into too much detail. In 2024, our motto was row the boat.
Correct.
That senior class took some ownership in it, and they rowed us and got this ship in the right direction. And I think we're close to where we want to be, and it's time to burn the boats. There's no going back.
Good.
So we're looking forward. We're going to conquer some new land, and going to achieve our goals and everything that we plan for.
Final words, Coach.
Thanks to you. I know today was not everything that you wanted, but hopefully this interview was great, and I appreciate everything that you've done for Erath, not just the football program, but I know you were at a lot of our baseball games, and seeing you out there and seeing the crowd getting involved and seeing the comments and the messages and promoting the blue and white has been fun to see through you guys. And I know y'all work your butts off. What you do for football in this area in the state of Louisiana is fantastic. I just hope y'all keep up the good work, man, and I appreciate what y'all do for us.
See you during the regular season.
Yep. See y'all out in Bobcat Stadium.
Lock it in.
Appreciate you, Jordan.
Coach, report it off.
We did. Thank you for hanging in there with us, guys.
Thank you for rewatching. Ladies and gentlemen, first glimpse of Bobcat football will be August the 21st at Ascension Episcopal. you want to see Bobcat football, go support these guys. Coaching staff have been working tremendous hard work, and season counting down. We're 40-something days away, Coach. You'll be here before we know it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for being a great friend to myself and the program. 2 interviews today is tough, but I'm glad we pulled it off. I can drive home now, and I can feel better about my impact that I left today here at Erath.
Anytime.
Coach,
Go Bobcats.
there it is.
Thanks, guys.